don't know who listened or didn't. The sugya of Reb Chanina Sagana Kahanim. Chanina is there's a halacha like this. The halacha is that you are commanded not to go ahead and you have to commanded to watch truma to make sure it doesn't become tamei. The pasuk says mishmeres truma soy. Mishmeres is the din of shmira that you should watch that truma does not get tamei. So the situation arises where you have to burn it together. You're burning kachim. If truma you can't go ahead and become tamei. Certainly kachim, which is more a high level of kedusha, you're also mitzvah not to go ahead and even tama. So Reb Chanina said the following. He said from his time on in the Beis Hamikdash, he could testify the following, that a piece of meat that became tamei with an avatama, a piece of meat that became tamei with an avatama, thus making it a rishon, could go ahead and be burnt with a piece of meat that was a shlishi tama, a level 3. If you take a 1 and a 3, it elevates the 3 to a 2. So even though you're taking something that's tamei and elevating its tamei, he said that's okay. Rabbi Akiva said you could take something, truma, that became tamei from a tful yaim. Tful yaim is a sheni, is a 2. So now the truma, the oil, is a 3. You're putting it in a metal menorah, a metal lamp, which is an avatuma, because it touched an avatuma, and metal stays the same. It does not go down a level. So now you have an av touching a shlishi, thus elevating it 2 levels to a rishon. So Rabbi Akiva said even a larger chiddush than Rabbi Chanina. Why was this larger chiddush? That in fact you can move it up 2 levels, not only from a shlishi to a sheni, but even from a shlishi to a rishon. Okay, those were the 2 statements and the 2 pshatim of Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. I'd like to pick it up. Go back to the Mishnah now in Yud Aleph and Aleph. We're going to pick it up now from the statement that we have to, for this evening, that we have to know. In the middle of the Gemara, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 lines down. 13 lines down. Amma Reb Meir, says Reb Meir, midivreihem, from their words. Now, literally, it should be the words of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Chanina that we spoke about before, right? Those two, midivreihem, apparently from their words, lamadnu, we learn shesarfin truma tahira im hatameya b'pesach, that you have to get rid of some truma that's tahar with tameya, from the words apparently of the Rabbi Chanina and or Rabbi Akiva, you learn you can go ahead and burn tahar dika truma with tameya dika truma, despite the fact you're going to make the tahar dika truma tamei, which you are musar warned not to do. Now, apparently, it's from those words. On that, Rabbi Yossi says, "Einahi amida." That isn't the midah. That doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it make sense, guys? Because in both the case of Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Chanina, you're taking 2 things that are tamei. They're already tamei. All you're doing is elevating the level of tumah. On the other hand, over here, like Reb Meir, you're taking something that's tahar, completely tahar. So what is the tzushtel? What is the tzushtel from Rabbi Meir to the other previous 2 cases? Apparently, says Rabbi Yossi, you have an intrinsic difference between the 2. Yeah, they're both tamei. Here, one is tamei, one is tahar. That seems to be the problem. So for those people who walk late, Mr. Dama, tough luck on you. Now, so now we're going to pick it up on Yud Dalet Amid Beis. We're going to pick it up from Divrayim, from the words of who? Okay, so Yud Dalet Amid Beis. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines from the bottom. Reb Meir midivrayim lamadnu. So again, to fill in the blanks, from the words of someone, we learn you could burn truma tahira im truma tameya. Good. Says the Gemara. Midivrayim deman. Whose words are we talking about? Ilema midivrei Reb Chanina Sagana Kahanim. Midami. Again, Reb Chanina says, guys, what? You're taking a 3 and a 1 and elevating it to a 2, right? Over there, Hasam Tamei V'Tamei. In there, both cases, they're both tummy. One's tummy to the level of shlishi, a 3. One's tummy to the level of a 1. But they're both tummy. Ela midivrei Rabbi Akiva, mi dami, hasam puzzle. The shlishi truma is called puzzle because it can't transmit tuma another level. So it's called puzzle. Vitame, and you have the ner, which is an avatuma. So there also you have tummy and puzzle. But hacha, according to the words of Reb Meir, tahar vitame, you have a tahar dika truma and a tame dika truma. So how in the world can Reb Meir say midavreim from the words of either Reb Chanina or Rabbi Akiva? You have a tzushtel to say you can burn them together. Why would I say that? They are both tame. Here, one is totally tahar. So therefore, it's guys, it's tremendous kasha. Says the Gemara. Nema, let us say, Ksav Reb Meir must hold, Masnisan be'av hatuma da'araisa. We're going to learn from Chanina, guys. So the first piece of meat got tame, it touched an avatuma. So it's the rishon. And the second, uvlad hatuma derabanan. And the vlad hatuma, the shlishi, is not tame deraisa, it's only tame derabanan. So guys, look at the setup, and I'll fill in the blanks in a second. Okay? I really wish I had my blackboard. Watch. We have a 3 and a 1. This 3 means the level of tuma. Okay? 3 and a 1 according to Chanina. We have an av and a 1 and a 3 according to Rabbi Akiva, right? Asher is, you're saying something that's totally tahar and you're burning it. It's something that's tamei. It doesn't make any sense. So what we want to do now, it says Rabbi Chanina, is also something that's tahar and tamei. Why would that be? When Rabbi Chanina said 3 and a 1, he goes, the 1 is deraisa, but the 3 is only derabanan. So what it means, midavreim, on the deraisa level, I have a good sushtel, because midaraisa is takatahar. It's only tamei derabanan. And therefore, I have a sushtel to be able to burn truma that's tahar with truma tameya. You know, I accomplished that. What I'm doing is I'm taking the 3 off the board. I'm making the 3 into a tahar, because the 3 is only tamei derabanan. So that would be possibly now I can sushtel Rabbi Meir to Reb Chanina. Good? That would be the tushtel. Reb Chanina really didn't say they're both tamei. Only one of them is tamei. The other one's tamei. The 3 is only tamei derabanan. And therefore, if it's only tamei derabanan, on the deraisitic level, I'm burning what? Tamei, a one, and I've reshon with nothing, which is exactly what Reb Meir said. Now, what would the case be of tamei derabanan? Okay, so it's a din like this. This is again a very side point, but I didn't want to let it go by because we're going to come upon it a little later. A zav is an avatuma. His spittle is an avatuma. His urine is an avatuma. Anything that collects in the body before it expunges, before he lets it go, is an avatuma. It's an avatuma. Therefore, we find there's such an animal, a liquid that's an avatuma. So the Chacham Regoisa, a din like this. We all know that a keli has to go ahead and get contaminated by an avatuma. A kli cannot contract tuma from what? From a rishon. It has to be an av. Since we find the liquid state is something an avatuma, the spittle of a zav or the urine of a zav, they made a gezerah that if any liquid touches the kli becomes tamei. Midrabanan. Because really a liquid doesn't have the capacity. We're going to this liquid to the liquid of a zav. Any food that's going to be inside that kli now will be a shlishi, right? So that's what we're speaking about in the Mishnah. You have an avatuma that touched a zamin food that contracted tumah from a drabbanic source as a result of a liquid. So now you have a very good tushtel. Okay, if you forget the last thing I just said, it's not a problem. I just introduced it, right? The point being, guys, that we want to work in the mechanics of the Mishnah. Midivreim, from the words of Reb Chanina Sagana Kohanim, I learned the din that you could burn Tameya and Tahira together. Why? Because Reb Chanina is speaking about Tameya and Tahira, because it's only Tahir Midrabanan. It's only Tahir Midrabanan. But Midrais, it's good. So that would be a potential answer. Good? We're all good. Says the Gemara.
The food in the body is deraisa.
Deraisa. That. Because of that, they're goisa. Because we find such a min animal that's a liquid, that's an avatuma, that another liquid can be mitama kli, like that can be mitama kli. Like that can be mitama kli. Okay, says the Gemara. The Midaraisa Tahar Ma'alia. Midaraisa, the Vlada Tuma guys, that Shlishi, the emphasis Tahar. Umay Midivreim, when it says the words of Midivrei Reb Chanina Sagana Kahanim, from the words of Chanina Sagana Kahanim. And therefore we have Pshat in our Mishnah, from the words of Chanina that it's speaking about Midar on the Midaraisa level, Tahar and Tama, you can go ahead and burn Truma Tahar and Truma Tamea. That would be great. Okay. I'm Reish Lakish, Mishuma Kapara. No. I'm not buying that. Masnisam be'ava tumidaraisa uvada tumidaraisa. No, we're speaking about things that became tame on the daraisa level. As we spoke at last night on the tape, if you on the recording, if you listen to it, we spoke at the hakdama. If something that's a rish, something that's an av touches the food becomes a rishon. If something that is by kachim, if something kachim touches a sheni, it becomes a shlishi. Daraisa. So that's our Mishnah. The Fanina holds what? That you have an av that's an av touches something, it's a rishon, it's a one. And you got a two, touch the three, became a three and a one. Now you don't have a tzushtel to what? Burning truma ta'ira, because you don't have it, right? You don't have that. So Midivreim can't be going back on the words of Chanina, because since Reb Chanina is speaking deraisa and deraisa, you don't have the tzushtel to what? Tahor. There's no tahor here whatsoever. So what's the din then? What are we speaking about? Says the Gemara. From the words of Rebbe Eliezer and Rebbe Yeshua. Okay, guys, let's go back to the Mishnah. Go back to Mishnah Yudalid. We have A, the component. We have the statement of Chanina. B, we have the statement of Rabbi Akiva. 3, we have the statement of Rabbi Meir. Right? We have the statement of Rabbi Meir. And now let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up. Then we have Rabbi Yossi. Now, Rabbi Yossi says Rabbi Yossi, Eina hi min amida. It's not a good tushtel. And now, what all of a sudden happens? Watch. Umaydim Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, and Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, they're maida, shesarfim zula atzma v'zula atzma. Each one is burnt alone. Who said? Where are they coming in? Usually, when somebody comments, it's on the previous statement. Who are they? We know who they are, but how do they come into our Mishnah? What? It doesn't appear to make sense in our Mishnah. Where do they argue? Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua? Al hatluya val tameya. On truma, that is a suffix. You don't know what to do with it. You can't burn it. You can't eat it. No tameya. So Eliezer says tisarv zulatzma zulatzma Yeshua mishtem kachas. Now, what are those words over there? We have seems to be that both Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer both agree in a scenario that in some scenario they agree that you burn them separately. They burn them separately. L'chayra. What is this? Okay. So now, back in our Gemara, says Reish Lakish, guys, go back to our third clause. What does Reb Meir say? Midivreim. It can't be the words of Rabbi Chanina. It can't be the words of Rabbi Akiva. You know what's the words of? Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. It's their words. It's Rabbi Yeshua. It's that latter part of the Mishnah. That's what Rabbi Meir is referring to. Let's go through it now. Umay midivreim midivrei Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yeshua. Hi Rabbi Yeshua. Which Rabbi Yeshua talking about? Ilema hi Rabbi Yeshua. The following Rabbi Yeshua. That's not in the Mishnah in the 8th parak of Trumis. Chavia shel Truma. You have a chavias of Truma. Now, guys, bear in mind, we have a mitzvah to watch Truma. We have a mitzvah to watch Truma, that the Truma should not become Tameh. We have a mitzvah, again, it's a mitzvah to watch Truma, that Truma should not become Tameh. Special mitzvah. So now, you left a Truma open. Now it's a suffix. There's a man that went in the room. He's a Tameh guy. You don't know if he touched it or he didn't touch it. Rabbi Eliezer, here's the following. If the Truma was being held in a place that was hefker, it wasn't being watched, what should you do? Put it in a place that it should be watched. In other words, Rabbi Eliezer holds by a suffix Truma, you're still musar, you still want to keep it in a state of tyrus. You still have to watch it. So if it was a place in hefker, put it in a place that'll be watched, that it won't become tummy. Sure. And if it was opened, then Yechasem close it. That's Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua Omer, if this barrel was of suffix was found in a place of what? Of that it was hidden. You can bring it out what in the place that what is open. You can bring it in a place that's open. In other words, I'm not commanded anymore to watch it. I can put it in a place where it'll become tamei. Once there's a doubt of its status, I don't have to watch it anymore. And if the barrel was covered, you galena, uncover it. Uncover it. In other words, make it more conducive for it to go ahead and contract tuma. Now, what's the tzushtel? Very good. Midivrayim, from the words of Rabbi Yeshua over here, who says, once it's in a state of doubt, he's tushelling the following guys. A state of doubt to burning truma erev Pesach. In other words, that is holech leibud. That truma is going to become chametz, right? Erev Pesach. So just like that's holech leibud, so too is this tluya holech leibud. So right. So that midivrayim, meaning from the words of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer in this Mishnah in Trumas, we could learn that you can burn truma to hirim, truma to meya. Here, guys, hear this. Midivrayim. In the Mishnah Pesachim, from the words of Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah Trumas, I can learn that you can go ahead and burn it. Because you see, Rabbi Yeshua says, what? Leave it open, don't worry about it. And if it's a state of we're not sure, so too, Erev Pesach, it's a state, it's going to be gone. That's Midivrayim. Fred the Gemara, what kind of tzushtel is that? Me dummy. Hassam, you're not being metameh for sure. Groma ba'alma. Over there, you may cause it by opening it up or by placing it in an open spot. You may cause it to become tamei, but you're not vaday making it tamei. If you're going to go ahead and burn it together, be a dayim. Your mom is directly doing it. So that can't be the Rabbi Yeshua you're going according to. So again, what's our mission, guys? Our mission is midivrayim, to figure out from the words of so-and-so, we can ascertain that you could go ahead and burn truma to hirim, truma to meah, erev Pesach. Says the Gemara. Where do you know that from? It can't be Reb Chanina. It can't be Rabbi Akiva, because over there they were both tamei and tamei, or tamei and pasul, but they weren't tahor and tamei. So we're saying from the words of Rabbi Yeshua in this Mishnah in Tahiris, we're saying that also doesn't work, because all I would know from there is you can cause it to become tamei. It doesn't say you can make it tamei like you're doing by burning it together. So we're back to the drawing board. Who's the midivrayim that Reb Meir is referring to when he said the statement, you can bring truma tahira and truma tameya. That's our mission. Next try. Ella lashon charata. You're right. It can't be that Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua. It must be the following Rabbi Yeshua. Ditnan. Again, another mission in Trumas. Chaviet shel truma shenishbara. Okay, here's the case, guys. You have a wine vat here, and it's dripping down in here. And down here you have chulin. Chulin, it can be drunk by anybody. Up here you have truma tameya, right? Truma tameya has to be burnt. If you can't do anything with it. It drips into the vat, you're finished, you're finito. But your mitzvah, that the truma tameya, your mitzvah not to go ahead and mix it together. No. I made one case. No. The chulin is tamei. The bottom of that is tamei. The top is tahar. Good. So if it's going to go, the tahar is going to go into the drip into the vat. You finished. That's the case. And so what can you do over here? Look at Rashi. Chavia shows truma begase el yainai. Says Rashi. Hainu adoshim shel gas. It's called the adoshim of the gas. V'atachtoina hainu bar. That's the bar of the gas. Shayayin yor l'soicha tmeyin. Chulin tmeyin. Yeshba. There's chulin that's tummy there. V'roy lo b'mei tumasay. And the kohen can drink it when he's tummy. Oy l'misheina oichel chulin b'tayro. Or anyone who doesn't drink chulin b'tayro. Then tipel truma zula socho. And if this truma is going to fall inside, havle midumua tummy. It's going to be a mixture of chulin and truma. That's tummy. But like chazil Yisrael mixture truma. And then Yisrael won't be able to eat it because of the truma. But I feel tahira, even if he's tahar. You can't sell it to a kohen. Even the tamehi asura, it's asur. So therefore, that's the case, guys. So you have chulin that's tamei. You have what? That truma that is tahar. Now it breaks, and the truma is going to drip in. Can you go ahead and be metama the truma? The only keli you have is a keli that's tamei. Can I be metama the truma to save the chulin? It's the chulin. The truma is tamei. You know, the truma is going to get tummy. It's going to go into a tummy thing, right? But if you want to save the chulin inside by catching the truma, the chulin's tummy, but you can drink it. Yisrael can drink it. If the truma goes in, what? You're catching the truma in the tummy kli.
Oh, we have another kli.
You have a kli. So in other words, you have Torah truma, and it's going to drip before it drips in. You want to take a kli and get it. If you have a Torah kli, of course, that's the best thing to do. Can you go ahead in that scenario be metama the truma to save the chulin, or you're going ahead be a dayim, you're being metama truma? The only kalim I have is truma is tamei tika kalim. Am I permitted to go ahead and contaminate the truma that's dripping in to save the chulin that's on the bottom? Now that the chulin is tamei again, we don't care. Yisrael can drink it, and even a kohen can drink it when he's tamei. He doesn't care. Good. So that's the question at hand.
This truma is going to be, if you don't do anything, it's becoming a second anyway.
What?
Because it's dripping into the.
Einachinami. It's going to be tummy in a second anyway.
So
Therefore, on Pesach, at this Pesach, the truma, if you don't burn it, it's going to be. That's the tushtel. They're both holding by a moment of at. So now, good. Says the Gemara. So here's the case. So this is the Yeshua speaking about it. That chaviyah shel truma. You have a chaviyah of truma. Shenishbra begas el yain v'tachtoin chulin tmein. And the bottom you have chulin that's tamei. Moed the Rabbi Eliezer of Yeshua shemiyachal lahatzl mimenu revius b'tayri yatzel. In other words, if I can let it all drip in, as long as if I have a kli that to save b'tayri, even a revius, do it. However, vim lav, if I can't save what? I can't save a revius. Rabbi Eliezer le'metayri v'titamei v'aditam b'yad. Let it all go. Let it all go. If you can't save it, let it all go. I don't care. You cannot go ahead and be metama b'yadayim. Are you going to go ahead and ruin all the chulin in the bottom? Rabbi Yeshua, I mean, no. If you can't save it, immediately you're able to go ahead and use the tamei tika kli. So now, according to Dov, you got a great sushtel, guys. Midivrei Rabbi Yeshua, this is the exact same sushtel. You're permitted biyadayim to go ahead and be matama truma, right? It's going to go. The truma is going to be lost in a second. So erev Pesach, you're permitted to go ahead and burn the taira with the tahar. You're making a tamei. It's going to be lost anyway. So l'chayra midivrei of this Rabbi Yeshua, you learn you can burn together truma taira and truma tameya. You have an exact sushtel from this case.
It's very different. But he's doing an action of this happening by itself.
Why? I'm burning it.
That's an action, but we let the truma drop down.
I'm not letting the truma down. I'm taking a kli. I'm doing an action to save it. I'm taking a kli.
But if you're not going to save it, you're going to let it drop.
So if I don't burn the truma, what's going to happen? No, by Pesach, what's going to happen? That's this thing. You in both these kings are halach leibud. The truma is halach leibud because of dripping in. By Pesach, it's halach because of the time. So it's the exact same case. In other words, if nothing was going to happen to this truma, if it's going to be lived happily ever after, there's no shaila. Of course, you can't do it. Over here, both Avram are in a second, in a matter of moments, they're both halach leibud. They're both going to be lost. That's the tushtel. That's the tushtel. So we see over here when it's halach leibud, am I permitted to be a dayim to metame it? According to Yeshua, absolutely. Midivrayim from the words, Midivrayim is a problem, right? Midivrayim from their words, we learned that what? You can go ahead and be metama truma tahira b'truma tameya. That's the tushtel. That's the tushtel. Okay. Says the Gemara. Now, if you're telling me that that's the Midivrayim, hi Midivrayim, Midvar mi boile. You didn't learn anything from Rabbi Eliezer, guys. Divrayim means from their words. You didn't learn anything from him, from them. You learned from him. Midvarav. It should be his words, Rabbi Yeshua's words. Says Machachi Amar. Kusan Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua lamadnu. From the words of Rabbi Eliezer and Yeshua, we learned. They can nami that this is the right pshat. Diktani moide Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua. Introducing Rabbi Eliezer, Yeshua shmamina. Guys, it's very geschmack as anything. We read the Mishnah. All of a sudden, who appears? Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, correct? Why are they appearing here for? Now let's stick it back in the Mishnah. Go back to the Mishnah. Let's stick the pshat back in the Mishnah. You have Rabbi Chanina's shita. You have Rabbi Akiva's shita. You have the words of Rabbi Meir. Let's go. Let's start again. And we're starting about 13 lines down. Amar Rabbi Meir. Amar Rabbi Meir. Midivrayim, from the words of Rabbi Yeshua, who says you can take a kli that is what? That is tahar, and make it tamei to save the chulin. So you're being metama truma b'yadayim. Lamanu shesor from truma tahar and truma Pesach. Right? Good. Rabbi Yossi on that, we'll have to see why. Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's not a good sushtel. Umoidim Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, guys, geschmack, right? Now, since the rain was referring to Rabbi Yeshua, it makes sense now we can introduce. However, the moidim in certain scenario, it fits beautifully, because until then, we didn't know what they were doing here. But if Mitzvayim is the words of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, meaning the Machloikis, and we're passing like Rabbi Yeshua, there's a scenario where they're both Maida. We introduce them, and therefore it flows in Rabbi Yossi's Kasha, and Rabbi Yossi then continues and says, however, there's a scenario where they're Maida. So beautiful, it fits in like a glove in the Mishnah. How are we doing? Are you lost in the sauce? There was this, again, you had to help Cheshbon, but the Cheshbon should be good. Bump, a bump, a bump, a bump. So right now we're holding good. Midrayim, the words of Rabbi Yeshua. Okay, let's go weiter.
It's glad, even though it's referring to a case that has nothing to do with the Mishnah.
It's referring to Truma. It's the Mishnah in Trumas. So as always, the Mishnah expects you to learn no color tarakula before you learn the Mishnah. Right? It anticipates that you
I was absent that day.
Yeah, I know. Again, name is like Shmar Ba'arvis. You have to know who Kahanim on the Chalasan Lech L'Trumasan. You have to know what Tiful Yom is. You have to know what Mechus Kippurim is. A Nemon in the first mission of Brachos that you opened up that you know something. Okay? So you have a time to love the Kadosh Baruch Hu, right? And so that and says that. V'chein Amar Rav Nachman Amar Rabbi Avua Mastisam Ba'ava Tumah Daraisa Vlada Tumah Daraisa. Guys, once they're both speaking Daraisa, you can't use Rabbi Chanina as your proof. In other words, right, guys, once it's speaking about Daraisa, both Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Chanina are out, and we have to go ahead and jump to Trumas to Rabbi Yeshua. So, Ba'ava Tumah Daraisa Vlada Tumah Daraisa. Umay Midivrayim Midivri Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Yeshua. Okay, guys, so hopefully we're holding good. Esivei Rabbi Rav Nachman. Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi. Ein hanida in doimil l'raya. Now, this brisa is going to elaborate upon that cryptic lashon of Rabbi Yossi. You just sushteled it to Rabbi Yeshua. Ein min amida. It's not a good sushtel. And now, as often the brisa is elaborated beyond the lashon of the Mishnah. What does it say? Esivei Rabbi Rav Nachman. Rabbi Yossi. Ein hanidin doimil l'raya. Your nidin of tzreifas chametz is not comparable to the raya of dripping truma into a vat of chulin tameya. Why? Shekasheidu Rabbeinu amahidu im alabasa shenitma bevlada tuma shesarfin oisayim abasa shenitma ba'ava tuma. If they testify in basa that became a 3, if you're burning with a 1, zeh tameh v'zeh tameh. Im ala shemen shenifsel b'tful yoim, and if it's a shemen that was possible b'tful yoim, which is a shlishi. Shemadlik and I say biner shenitma betame meis, which is a av zeh pasal zeh tameh. So, guys, who is that Rabbi Yossi is referring to right now? Who is he referring to? Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer, or Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva? No one's talking.
Right?
Yeah. So who's he referring to? Who's he referring to? Forget the Rabbana. Who's he referring to? He's referring back to Reb Chanina and Reb Akiva. But 1 second, guys, look at me. Don't think too much. Watch. Listen to a conversation. I'm Reb Chanina Sagana Karnim. I say this. I say 3 and 1. I'm Reb Akiva. I say this. I say an Aven and a Shlishi. Good? An Aven and a Shlishi. I'm Reb Meir, and I say it's referring to Reb Yeshua. I'm Reb Yossi, and I say it's not a 3 and a 1. It's not an Aven and Rabbi Meir wasn't referring to Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Akiva. He was in Mishnah and Trumas. So Rabbi Yossi is now going back to Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva, and he's talking to Rabbi Meir. But Rabbi Meir, now he just said Midrayim. Midrayim was Rabbi Yeshua. But when Rabbi Yossi goes ahead and makes his taina, he's bringing in the words of Rabbi Chanina and the words of Rabbi Akiva. So apparently Reish Lakish's pshat is not the right pshat. One more time. Midivrayim. We have their words. We don't know. There is a pronoun. Who is their pronoun referring to? We said it can't be Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Chanina, and it can't be Rabbi Akiva. Out. It's Rabbi Yeshua. Now, that's Rabbi Meir's statement. Midivrayim, it's Rabbi Yeshua, a black hand, right? Black Lives Matter. Now, so He then goes ahead, Rabbi Yossi, and says, Eina min amida. Now, apparently, he's speaking to Reb Meir. If Reb Meir is speaking about the Jets, why in the world would he address the Giants, right? He's speaking about the Jets, not the Giants. But that's exactly what he did. He's speaking of Rabbi Yeshua, and he's addressing Reb Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. Reb Meir didn't say anything about Rabbi Akiva, Reb Chanina. He said you can't learn from them. That's going to be the problem over here. Look at the words. Look at the words of Rabbi Yossi. Guys, look at the Mishnah. Look at the Mishnah. Please look at the Mishnah. Go back. You have over here, Midivreim Lamadnu, the words of Rabbi Yeshua, Sarfin Shumat Taharim Shumat Pasal. That's the words, Rabbi Yeshua. Now, addressing that conversation, Rabbi Yossi says, Rabbi Yossi to Rabbi Meir, Einahi Amida. That's not Amida. On these words, the Brisa is explaining, elaborating upon, when it said this is not Amida, and now he's referring back to who? Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. But Rabbi Meir wasn't speaking about Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. He was speaking about Rabbi Yeshua. It doesn't flow, guys. The whole flow is not good. Anyone? A little nod? Nothing. Zero. Oh, good. No, come on. This is not Pesachim. This has nothing to do with Truma, guys. This could be anything. It has nothing to do with Lam. This is Truma. Not Truma. It's a flow of Gemara. This has nothing whatsoever to do with Truma. And guys, watch. I'll make it in football terms. Okay? In football terms. It's third down and 1, or it's less than 3-1. It's third down and 1 or less than 3-1. Right? Says Rabbi Meir, it's speaking about the other goalpost. Says Rabbi Yossi, and that's not a good sushtel. Why isn't it a good sushtel? Because it's 3 through. It's 3. You got 3 yards to go to 1, or you got less than 3 yards. I'm speaking about the other goalpost. What are you mentioning 3-1 there? I'm not speaking about the other goalpost. Ella, the conversation, not a conversation. That is not. I just explained to you the Gemara has nothing whatsoever to do with Tumah Torah. That's the same Gemara, right? It's a conversation. Tosus does not say it, Benji. Does not say it.
Now you go for the 2-point conversion.
Okay, anyway, but you understand what I just said? David Sass, you got it? Same Gemara, right? Guys, nothing to do with Tumah Torah. Nothing. Okay, so now, let's go back inside. Get away from football. Says the Gemara. Okay, so now, one more time. You have, Rabbi Yossi says the following. I'm Rabbi Yossi. It's not similar. When they testify, what they testify on? A 3. A 1. Both are tame. Which is a shlishi. Which is navatama. Zet possible. Zet tame. So afan amoidim, we would also admit b'truma shenitma b'vladatama just sorry for the same truma shenitma b'avatama. That both with tame we'd admit it. Heich nisraf hatluya. How could you go ahead and burn tuluya? And certainly tahira imatameya shema yav Eliyahu v'tirena. Maybe Eliyahu is going to come and say the tuluya is really tahar. Now, just a side point, which has nothing to do with anything right now. Hapigel v'anoisiv hatame. We won't discuss this. Beishama yoimim to burn them in nisraf me'achas. Right? You can't burn them together. They burn together. Now, here's the kasha. You know the kasha already, guys. If you're going to tell me Reb Meir was speaking of the words of Rabbi Yeshua, why is Rabbi Yossi addressing them? What's he addressing? That again, in other words, he wasn't discussing Rabbi Chanina Sagana Kahanim, but meanwhile, Rabbi Yossi was addressing him. You know, Rabbi Yossi was speaking about the goalposts. He was speaking about third down and 1, and he's speaking about the goalposts. What does one have to do with the other? I wasn't speaking about third down and 1. I was speaking about the goalposts, right? Again, it's nothing to do with Tumah V'Taira. It has everything to do with Pshat in the Mishnah, that the words don't fit. The words don't fit. That's Hashem. Omer of Nachman Rabbi Yossi. L'havadaite. Rabbi Yossi says of Nachman Rabbi Yossi, who is the Nemuka Imoy, Rabbi Yossi, Ben Chalafta, the halacha Rabbi Yossi b'chol makoim, because Nemuka Imoy, l'havadaite. He wasn't worried to the. He wasn't paying attention to the das of Reb Meir. He thought Reb Meir was addressing Reb Chanina, and he said there's no tushtel. Reb Meir wasn't speaking about Reb Chanina. He was speaking about Reb Yeshua. The Husav Reb Meir midivri Chananya Chanina Sagana Kahanim Kamalei Vamalei, and Reb Meir said back to him, "I'm not Reb Yeshua Kamina. I'm speaking about Reb Yeshua in the Mishnah in Shumas. I'm not speaking about this kachim burning." Vamalei, and so now Reb Yossi said to him, "Va'afil Reb Yeshua nami einahi min amida." Even if you're speaking Rabbi Yeshua, it's not a good sushtel. Meaning, catching truma that's tohar with a tummy tikka kli to save the chulin is not the same as burning tuma and tyra together. Guys, what's the difference? When you're burning tuma and tyra together, are you saving anything? What's the reason you're catching the why are you saving? Why are you catching the truma for, guys? You're saving a lot of money. You got a vat full of kosher wine. You got a drop of that truma in there. It's tame, but boom. Well, you may be able to bottle it, but boom, right? Finished. Mashenkin, you're burning them together. Why do you have to do that? Burn them separately. I have no choice but to save it, right? By truma. What? I'm not saving anything. Just burn them separately. We have to burn them together. I have a mitzvah not to make sure truma doesn't get tummy, right? I got a good eitzah. Burn this separately and this separately. I saved the truma for kamtar. I got rid of it before this man Pesach. I call you eitzah, right? So says Rabbi Yossi, even your tzushtel to Rabbi Yeshua is not a good tzushtel. Says the Gemara. Let's see it inside. Says Rabbi Yeshua. The might of Rabbi Yeshua is to serve zuf neyatzmai. You burn them separately. Burn the truma separately. Burn the v'may ein lehi min amida. Mida. What are you talking about? It is a good midah. In both cases, you say you have a lifespan that's over. This one is going to drip into the vat. This one's going to the time truma's pace is going to come. So shiny hasam the ikra hefsid chulin. The reason why Rabbi Yeshua lets you capture it over there, because there's a hefsid chulin. But where there's not a hefsid chulin, then you have to burn them both separately. Then you have to burn them out both separately. Okay, let's go back to the Mishnah and stick this pshat in the Mishnah. Yudalad Amar Aleph. You have Rabbi Chanina saying 3 and 1. You have Rabbi Akiva saying an av and a 3 making a 1. Rabbi Chanina said a 3 and 1 making a 2. Midavrayim, from the words of Rabbi Yeshua that you can catch. From the words of Rabbi Yeshua that you can catch the truma before it goes into the vat, you learn that you can go ahead and burn truma tahira and truma tameya. Rabbi Yossi, he brings in what Rabbi Chanina in the Brisa. He brings in Rabbi Chanina and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Meir says, I'm not speaking about Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Akiva. I'm speaking about Rabbi Yeshua. So Rabbi Yossi, even if you're speaking of Rabbi Yeshua, einahi midah. It's not a good midah. You should go ahead and burn them separately. When one is tar and one is tummy, you should burn them separately. Why is it not from an amida? What's the difference? It's a very good tushtel. No, it's not a good tushtel. By the truma and the chulin, the reason you're being metam of the truma is to save the chulin. But just burning stamazai to get rid of it, there's no reason to put them together to be metam of the tar. No mitzvah not to. Therefore, umayda, you burn this by itself and this by itself. Guys, you see how it fits in the Mishnah like a glove. Because you're mitzvah not to be metama the truma biyadayim, even though you're gonna have to burn it. If I burn it separately, I wasn't metama the truma tahira. In other words, the mitzvah ari, not. It doesn't make a difference for use. There's a mitzvah not to burn it. Even though you're burning it. And he's mishmeres the trumasi, your mitzvah, the whole sugya is predicated upon this. If it's not burned, I do whatever you want. It's predicated upon a mitzvah not to go ahead and burn and make them be metama truma. Guys, you see it fits good? Hopefully. Okay, let's go a little lighter. You know, you thought the problem was the tumah tyra problem. Again, I told you this evening, nothing to do with tumah tyra. The problem is cheshbon. The problem is just fitting the cheshbon. I wish I had a blackboard. I could fit the cheshbon in for you perfectly. Anyway, says the Gemara. So we have Marius the Kasha, Maskul of Yirmiyah, Maslisanam Yika Hefsid Eitzim. If you're going to require, fellas, 2 pyres to burn, if you burn them together, you only have 1 pile of wood. Now, if you burn them separately, you're going to have what? That's 2 piles. So you're going to be wasting wood. So now, apparently, what? L'chayre, it's a good tushtel. In both cases, you're taking a loss. One, you're taking the loss of if you don't save it, you can lose the wine. Here, you're going to lose wood. Says Gemara, Amalei, Ahusaba, said the Husaba, it's usually Eliyahu Navi. Lehefsid meruba chashashu, For a large loss, we're chayish. Lehefsid mu'it like chashashu. For hefsid mu'it v'nachashashu. A hefsid meruba, like the loss of the wine guys, that will be chayish for. A hefsid mu'it, like the burning some low wood, that we're not chayish. By where?
Why is not Eirach and then Bishun? We said about checking the comments because it's not a half move. We said that it was
Techiser, right? Techiser. Rav Asi Rabbi Yochanan. Now, okay, let's go for it, guys. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Right? When does chametz become asa deraisa? 7th hour, right? 5 muta, right? 6 us removal derabbanan, right? Removal derabbanan. You have to go ahead and remove it rabbinically. Good. Let's tushtel the tumah derabbanan, guys. Tumah derabbanan to the 6th hour. In both cases, one the chametz you have to get rid of derabbanically, rabbinically, to save you from the 7th hour, and the other one it's only tumah derabbanan. So again, for the next piece of Gemara, it behooves us to understand the following. If I go ahead and say the removal in the 6th hour, which is the Rabbanon, and Tumah the Rabbanon. So let's we have the following. Why don't we hold like Rabbi Chanina, guys? Why do we know Rabbi Chanina? Because we want to say the Mishnah speaking both Tumah Deraisis, right? Because if it's the Rabbanon, then it will be a good sushtel because it will be only Asa, it'd be Tohira, Midaraisa. Okay, says Rabbi Yochanan the following. Rav Asi and Rabbi Yochanan. Machloikis b'sheish. The machloikis between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi, machloikis between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi, guys, is in the 6th hour. In the 6th hour, whether what you can burn it together or not. Aval b'sheva, in the 7th hour, divriyah kol sarfim. Even Rabbi Yossi would say you can burn it together. Ari, in the 7th hour, it's gone. Burn it together. It's asa deraisa now. Burn it together, even though it's tahar. In other words, in the 7th hour, even the 7th hour, even Rabbi Yossi would say you could burn it. Why? Because again, it's nothing now. It's Amalei B'Seir Levasi Nema. When Rabbi Meir said, Rabbi Yochanan says it's been in the 6th hour. Let's see, holds like Rabbi Chanina. Right? Levasi Nema Ksav Rabbi Yochanan Masnisan Ba'ava Tumah Deraisa. The Mishnah is speaking by an Ava Tumah Deraisa, Uvlada Tumah Derabanan, and a Vlad Tumah that's the Rabbanan. In other words, let's say it's speaking like Reb Chanina. Guys, what's the reason we didn't hold like Reb Chanina? Because they were both deraises. So therefore, it's not a good sushtel to what? To burning Torah and Tameya. If it's the Rabbanon, then you have a sushtel because midaraisa it's Torah. So when he said he's sushtelling the 6th hour, and he's sushtelling the 6th hour and not the 7th, let's say the following. And then whose words are we speaking about? It's the words of Reb Chanina. Again, I'm burning Truma Tahira with Tameya. I'm burning Kachim Tahira with Kachim that is Tamei Rabbanon. If it's Tamei Rabbanon, I can burn Tahira Mid Rabbanon. Amalei in Nachinami, Reb Yochanan will learn Pshana Mishnah. The words of Reb Meir are going on Reb Chanina, not on Reb Yeshua. Itmanami, Reb Yochanan. Masnisan ba'avatuma deraisa uvlada tuma derabanan. Our Mishnah is speaking where the avatuma touched an av. It's a rishain midaraisa, and it's tuma derabanan. It's guys tuma derabanan. It's the liquid that touched the kli that was matama, right? The liquid that goes onto the zav. It made the kli tame. The kli made the meat inside tame. But midarabanan, it's tar completely, and then you have a tzushtel to burning chametz tahira, and then you can hold like Reb Chanina. Okay, so very good. So we have a second pshat. Midivrayim does not mean Rabbi Yeshua, that far-fetched Mishnah in the 8th parak of Trumas, and the pshat that mechudishtik pshat. It means like literally that Reb Meir Midivrayim from the words above, the words of Reb Chanina. What did Reb Chanina say? If I have an avatoma, that's the raisa. And the shlishi, that's the rabbanon, but rabbinically, it's what it is. Rabbinically, it is what it is tahar. I therefore on Pesach in the 6th hour, I can burn what truma tahira, which is the rabbanon asa now. So we're telling the rabbanon asa to get truma to what to Kachim that became Tommy from a Kli, that was the Rabbanan. And now we have a big good sushtel between Rabbi Hanina and this thing. That would make sense. And we bring a raya. And in the 7th hour, everyone's maida. The 7th hour is everyone's maida. It says in Berlin Messiah lay, ha pigel va'anoisav atamei, beishamei oimer. Now, pigel va'anoisav, you also mitzvah, it's kachim, not to be mitama them. Just because you can eat them doesn't mean you can be mitama them. But we're burning pigel noisav atamei together. Beishamei oimer means sorry from initram kachas, beisol oimer from kachas. So l'chayra, you're taking you're burning them together, despite the fact that that the tar, that the pigel and noisav tar. And Beishami says, Beisil says you can burn them together. Says therefore what? That's like the 6th hour. So the Mekshani Hasan, this like Tumid Rabbanon. The reason you can burn them together because pigul and noiser are only Tumid Rabbanon. Nana pigul and noiser mitamayin yadayim. In other words, if you take pigul and noiser, they would mitami your hands. So maybe the reason you can burn them is because they're Tumid Rabbanon. But maybe Rabbi Yosef would be moida if it's not the raisa, you won't be able to burn them. So you don't have a raya to the 7th hour. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks for hanging in.